Hi everyone, so here we are in lesson 1.7, the last one for our very first unit. So we have some definitions to go through and then we'll work on our examples. A lot of these I think you should maybe hopefully remember from middle school geometry, but we'll see. So our very first word is adjacent angles. And adjacent angles are two angles that share a common vertex and side but have no common interior points. Okay, so here is an example of what that would look like. So as you can see, they're touching, they share this side, and they both have the same vertex. Okay, so this is the adjacent side and vertex, and that's it. So they don't overlap, they're just sharing a side. So it's like they share a wall. Okay, so our next word is complementary, and that's two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So this one might be one of the ones that we already know. So they add together to equal 90. So angle 3 and angle 4 equal 90. Oh, and by the way, you should be drawing this picture and writing this down, please. So next we have supplementary. And supplementary is when two angles add together to equal 180. So for the complementary ones, I drew them adjacent. They share this side, but the supplementary ones I didn't. So complementary and supplementary, they don't have to be adjacent. They just add together to equal their 90 or 180, depending on what kind they are. Okay. But if they are adjacent and supplementary, they have a special name, and they're called a linear pair. So linear pair is when we have two adjacent and supplementary angles. So they're on a straight line, so that equals 180. So the two angles that are on that line, adjacent, share side, supplementary, equals 180. And our last kind is vertical angles. So vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines, and vertical angles are always congruent. So here's our two intersecting lines, and the pair that's vertical is angles 7 and 8. They're always congruent, so we could put congruency marks there. This pair is also vertical, so they're also congruent. Okay, so it's the angles that are opposite each other in those pairs. So let's take a look at our examples that are on the inside. Okay, so our first part is just naming angles in the picture. Okay, so there's a couple different answers, right answers for each kind. So I'm just going to go through one of them, but there's more than one option. Okay, so linear are two angles that make a straight line. So find a straight line and name the two angles. So if I use this as my straight line, angles 1 and 2, or I'm sorry, it's a 5. 1 and 5 could be our linear pair. If we use this one, we would have 4 and 5. Okay. If we looked at the top, there's 3 angles there, so that those don't count. 1, 2, and 3 are not a linear pair. Pair means 2. So we could say angle 4 and angle 5. So vertical are formed by two lines that intersect. Okay, they're the opposite pair. So if we have this line here and this line, vertical angles would be angle 1 and angle 4. This whole sum and 5 are vertical, but this would be the whole angle, not the pieces. Okay, so supplementary means they add to equal 180. So either of those linear pairs we picked earlier would be a good choice. So I'm going to do 1 and 5. So angle 1 and angle 5. Adjacent are just two angles that are next to each other. So I'm going to pick angle 2 and angle 3 because they aren't anything else special. They're just adjacent. Complementary, they add together to equal 90. So for this picture, it would have to be the 1 and 2 because there's a right angle. And there we go. Good job. Okay, so for 6, it says that they're complementary, find x. So complementary means that they add together to equal 90. So x minus 10 plus 4x minus 10 equals 90. So I took the two pieces and added them together to equal 90 because they were complementary. So if we combine like terms, we have 5x minus 20 equals 90. So 5x equals 110. We add the 20. and then divide by 5. And we get that x equals 22. Okay, so let's skip down to 8. We'll go down and then you guys can do the ones that are over. So for 8, it says that they're supplementary. So we know that supplementary, keyword here, means that they equal 180. So that means we'll take our pieces and equal 180. Okay, so 3x plus 17 plus our other angle, which is 1/2 x minus 5, equals 180. So 3 plus 1/2 is 3 and 1/2. So 3 and 1/2 x. 17 minus 5 is 12, equals 180. So we'll subtract that 12. So that's 168. I'm going to change this to improper. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's 7/2 x equals 168. So what do you think about getting rid of that fraction? How can we do that? Good. We'll times both sides by 2. We'll cancel that out. So then we have 7x equals 336. Divide by 7. So x equals 48. Okay, awesome job. So let's look at number 10. So number 10 says 2 angles form a linear pair. So what does that mean? Good, they equal 180. The measure of one angle is twice the measure of the other angle. So if this angle is x, how big is the other angle? Good, 2x. And we know that the 2 angles equal 180 because they're a linear pair. So that means that we get that x is 60. Very good. Okay, so down there on number 12, we have our picture. These are vertical angles. They're across from each other with 2 intersecting lines. So that means that this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle here. So 8x plus 6 equals 10x minus 26. Combine our like terms across, so subtract that 8x. So 6 equals 2x minus 26. So we get 32 equals 2x. So 16 is x. Awesome job. So I want you to pause the video and do the odds that we didn't do together. And then I'll show you all the math for them to make sure you guys understand them. And you'll circle them if you have any questions. So pause your video right now and do those 4 problems. Okay, here we go. So for 7, we made them equal 90. And we got 4. For number 9, we added them together to equal 180. And we got 14. 11, I said we had a linear pair, so that meant they were equal to 180. 24. For 13, remember we have those opposite angles are vertical, so that means they're congruent. So 3 is 54. And then these 2 are also vertical, so those are going to be the same. But if you look at it like that, they're supplementary. They're on a straight line. So 180 minus 54 gave us that 126. Okay, good job. So let's take a look at the back and we'll be done. So for this one, it's more of a thinking question. So what I think I'm going to have you do is write down your answers and then we'll go over them in class and then we'll talk about why or why not they're right. Okay, so write them in pencil so we can make sure we go over them. And you need to remind me to go over them too because I will forget because I don't remember things that I say in the videos because I record the videos early. So it says, what can you conclude from the diagram? So this is about making assumptions about the pictures. So unless they told you something specifically, it's not true, or you don't know that it's true. So don't make assumptions. Okay? So some of these you might not be able to get. I'd say you could probably get at least 3 of them, if not more, okay, out of those 5. And some of it has to do with what we learned in chapter 1.1 about collinear, coplanar, and things intersecting. Okay? So what can you not conclude? So what do you think that people would think of from this picture, but that we don't know is true? Okay. So for example, a lot of people would say that this is a right angle. Did they tell us it was a right angle? No, there's no right angle symbol. So we can't conclude that that is right. So what can you not conclude? That angle AEB is right. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. And then on the bottom, we'll do this together, but we're just going to draw in some marks to show what we would have to make these things be true. Okay, so try to answer those 5 things in the other 2. And then I'm going to check your answers as you guys come in the door. So you'll have to show me when you walk in. Oh, I guess I'll do one of these 2 for you because, you know, I don't know if you get it. So one of the things that we can conclude about this picture is that all the points are coplanar. This is one of the ones I didn't think we would think of. Okay, they're all on the same plane. And that's because it doesn't show us anything as 3-dimensional. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to name is like there's something collinear. 3 points are collinear there. We have some things that intersect at the same point, some specific type of angles, like straight lines and stuff, and some angles that are adjacent. Okay? Okay, good job, guys. Finish those up, and we'll talk about it in class. Werner out.